Hi everyone, I wanted to take a moment to personally address you and be transparent about where things stand at the moment. If you've been following us, you might have noticed it's been about 8 months since our last update, assuming we get round to this video on time. Back then we did leave off on a positive note with the team sharing exciting progress and plans for the future. Since then we've rolled out 5 updates focusing on significant back-end improvements. However, these updates came alongside major challenges and changes. First, I want to let you know that we paused the Patreon a few months ago and have now decided to unpublish it entirely. The funds we received weren't enough to cover ongoing asset costs, and given the minimal progress, we felt uncomfortable continuing to accept contributions towards CBR. In the past, we faced issues with paid assets not meeting expectations, and with contractors failing to complete work. And while we've since adopted stricter practices such as milestone-based payments, it's clear we could have handled things better from the start, and we do deeply regret these missteps, and just wanted to assure you that we have learned from them and are learning from them. To clarify, these challenges were mostly with external contractors, not the core team, so don't go and direct any hate to the people you've seen named or around. Unfortunately though, this does mean progress has slowed significantly. Our team has always been volunteer-based. At the start it was just myself and Scordi, and over time more people joined, but since the last update almost the entire team has stepped away due to personal circumstances, health or other commitments. Now it's effectively just the 2 of us again. This means progress has slowed, and as it stands we're uncertain if we can deliver the game we envisioned, or even complete the planned alphas 4 to 6. It's a difficult reality to face, and we've been unsure about how we should go about this, but we wanted to be upfront about the situation. CBR began back in July 2022 as just a quick port of Containment Breach to Godot. Over time it evolved into a remaster, then a remake, and restarted multiple times. We moved from Unreal to Godot C# to standard GD script Godot multiple times. And because of that, it means the current version of the project is actually only 14 months old, despite the whole thing feeling much older. Volunteer-based projects often face hurdles like these, but we've worked hard to push forward regardless. For those solely interested in the game, the summary is this, and you can stop watching after this. We've hit major roadblocks, the team has shrunk, and progress will be slow. We'll continue chipping away at it if we're able, but expectations should be tempered, and we're not entirely sure about the future of CBR. On a personal level, I've been dealing with ongoing health issues. While none are life-threatening or risky, they have required significant attention, and mental health has been a bigger battle, particularly depression. The last couple of years have been some of the hardest of my life, and while I've tried to manage everything, it has taken a toll on my motivation and productivity. When I left my job 7 months ago, nearly 8 now, this is a little bit old, we've been figuring out how to try and say this for a long time. I hope to dedicate more time to the project, but unfortunately the economy and my mental health made this difficult. As a result, asset creation has slowed significantly without my income to support it, and the things I was hoping to do never came to fruition. Talking about this is uncomfortable, but I do think it's important context for where we are with the project, since we don't typically talk about this stuff publicly. The Patreon funds did supplement what we had, but the majority of it came from both myself and Scordi, regrettably.
When CBR first started, it was something I worked on because I enjoyed it as a creative outlet. I've always been a game dev at heart and no stranger to the SCP community. So the opportunity to work on an SCP game with a group of like-minded volunteers is an opportunity I jumped at. Despite a bunch of issues that led to us restarting the project a few times, I was still enthused and dedicated to the project, and I've continued working on the project for over 2 years at this point. When I graduated university, I began to invest pretty much all my time into developing CBR in the hopes that it would get enough attention to become at least self-supporting, with no such status occurring. Over time, the continued workload as a primary dev and a volunteer began to drain the passion from the project, and developing gradually became more of an obligation rather than a creative interest. There's this feeling of obligation for our supporters and the community paired with the lack of sustainability, sapped pretty much all my creative interest from CBR as an SCP game. Without the interest in SCP content, my motivation to work on CBR for the sake of CBR has essentially vanished. While I will continue to work on CBR, it will be because I enjoy creating games as an interest that will be shared among other projects of mine, instead of just focused on the one project.
This video was difficult to make because CBR has been a passion project that kept me going during tough times, and it has been a long time. I looked like this when we first started. But as the challenges have piled up with both people and the projects, it's become increasingly harder to maintain the spark that drove us. We spoke together for a little while before this video, and Scordi will aim to work on elements of the game as he can, but as two people with little motivation in this area, things will be slow. I'm hoping it'll turn around with time. I myself have just got a new job and am saving to move again, 6th house since the project started, or to work on future projects, but as time has shown me repeatedly, plans can't really be trusted and promises don't always hold. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we're sorry an update like this had to be made. On a personal note, I just want to address, this is off the script, I just want to address some things I've seen around the community. People are probably going to be like, curse of SCP games. I want to be clear that it is not some SCP curse. It is an issue with the overall games industry, the pressure people put on volunteer projects, and just the lack of commitment a lot of people have. It's not an issue with any of the people we had personally. I don't want to direct any hate to them, but it never felt like we found people at the right time. It was always right before they got busy, or right before some health issue happened. And you've seen on our Trello we planned ahead. I've personally rewritten the documentation so many times that I just can't anymore. I've put basically all I have mentally into this, and I don't believe that Scordi and myself have the ability to cover the things we need, such as the level of quality for materials, animations, and rigging. In the future, I would potentially like to pick this up. This isn't a goodbye forever. There's a reason we're not just posting all the files publicly and deleting everything. I do want to come back to it, but I just don't know when that's going to be, and if it'll be there anytime soon. Thanks to everyone for all of the ongoing support, and if you have any questions or things you would like to direct to the team, remember we do have a Discord server, and you can open up, I believe the channel's called either support or mod support, and you can make a thread there. It'll notify the higher team members, and we can discuss that with you. Thanks for the update, and goodbye.